Hey everybody, it's Nerdy30. I wanted to say thank you for joining me for another video. This is kind of an unofficial part 2, I guess you could call it, to the stack of free Optiplexes I got from a recycle center. This is the 7070 i5 9500. It's going to have 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, an Asus GTX 1650, and this was a deal I found a while ago. Totally forgot I found it. It is a brand new 1 terabyte NVMe I got at a local store called Game Exchange sometime this summer. I figured for a sealed 1 terabyte, that was a really good price. But last time, the fan said the CPU fan was kicking up an error, which spinning freely, it's working fine now every time I turn it on and off, but it's saying it's missing the hard drive. So I'm gonna slap this NVMe drive in and we're gonna see what we can do. As you can see, everything is working the way it should. I had a 1050 Ti that I was gonna put in here, but it was a dual fan model and it was just too long and it was hitting the power connector for the motherboard. So I had to go get out my backup rig, which I have a Asus single fan GTX 1650, which I believe is the Phoenix model. I don't know, I picked it up, gosh, 3 years ago. There's a little Inspiron, I think it's a 3670, I found at Goodwill for 20 bucks. And I've used it for a while, my daughter used it. Kind of just a good computer to keep in the arsenal in case somebody's rig goes down. It's fully supported with Windows 11 and it doesn't take a lot of power. Okay, I am back. The next computer I pulled out is a 770, and we have a i5 9th gen. So that's great, that's awesome. I was digging these out of bins that they had. So they said they just toss all their scrap in a bin, and every 12 bins that get full, truck comes and gets them and then shreds them. So hopefully we keep getting lucky. So what do we have here? So complete system, minus storage, of course. Let's see, what do we got memory-wise? Single stick of RAM, no NVMe, but I actually have a couple NVMe's and SSDs. So we have a 16 gig, wow, PC4 2666. Okay, I actually just pulled a 32 gig kit with 2 of these modules, so that will work. This one might be our money just right there. Shoot, I was hoping for, I thought they were Intel i5 8th gen, because 8th gen is the oldest Intel that is going to be supported by Windows 11, which I know there are some ways to get past that TPM 2.0. I think it's 2.0, the requirement for the security requirement for Windows 11, but when I'm selling computers, I don't like to go out of my way with stuff like that and get into gray water area, because frankly, computers in my area, stuff under $400 sells way easier than stuff over $400, and especially around that $250 mark and under. And so if I'm selling a computer for $200 and it's not going to support Windows, or it's not going to be supported by Windows 11, or they're going to get a year out of it or whatnot, I kind of have a hard time slapping my name on it, saying, hey, this is good to go. And you know, not that just because Windows 10 is going to be dropped from support doesn't mean it's not going to still be a usable OS. It's just, I think it's October, November next year, about a year from now. So I'm trying to move the last little bit of machines I have. So this is a, drum roll please, just kidding, no drum roll. We have a, let me me zoom back in. An i5 9500. Okay, that is what is up. So awesome. So this right here made the entire stack worth it if everything works. But we have some scrap machines. If we have to put one machine together, that'd be great. So I'm gonna go offline, and if I see anything else like this one, I will come back. See you in a second. Okay, everybody, I'm back. So we are looking at 4 Optiplex 7040s with i5 6500 processors. 2 had 1 4 gig stick of RAM each. This last one here on the table had an NVMe on it, but the reason I talk about keeping parts, see that dent there? Probably hard to see there, you can kind of see it there. I have never had a case give me so much problems opening. I'm not sure if it was bent because there was no signs of damage. This was me I did all of this with a flathead screwdriver. So luckily, as I said, that dead one, oops, sorry, that was loud. That dead one will be used to make one computer between the two of them. So I think my plan now is to use that 7070, and I'm gonna make a Windows 11 gaming rig. So I will get that put together, and then I will be back with a wrap up and kind of final thoughts on this. Looks like I've got some company. This is Mako and Zelda. Both my puppies that I've rescued this year. Mako's a German Shepherd lab mix. I think she's about a year old. And here's Zelda. Zelda Bean. Zelda is, we're not quite sure what she is. My son calls her Stubby. Come here, Zelda. It's okay, baby. But she is a sweet puppy too, and she's right around 6 months old. So you might see them around. My garage door, go out there to my patio, and Zelda can hop and will hop and look in, and Mako is tall enough to stand and look, but she's such a good girl. Mako, she's a good baby. Come here, Zelda. Dear Zelda. She's a little skittish, but we're working on it. Okay, so after a little bit of messing around, we are in the diagnostic. That's one thing I always do. Let's run a full OEM diagnostic. So for some reason, I have, let's see, I have 2 of these 16 gig sticks, which there's one identical to this already in the system in single channel, but we all know dual channel is way better for increased data transfer speeds. So I was digging through, and I have one more stick of that speed, but unfortunately it's only an 8 gigabyte stick. So we do have dual channel matching speeds, but we're at 24 gigabytes of DDR4, which is going to be pretty decent for this system. 1 terabyte NVMe, GTX 1650 OC, and a i5 9500. This will be a pretty decent budget computer for, you know, a kid to play Fortnite on, maybe run, you know, Red Dead Redemption on, etc. But I will be back shortly when we are done with the diagnostics and we have Windows installing. Okay, so update on the 7070. It had a BIOS password, and I have had mixed luck before with getting those passwords removed. I remember one time I bought a 9th gen 7000 series Optiplex from a pawn shop that had a BIOS password, but it did not have a jumper to boot or to reset the password. But luckily this one did. I'm not gonna really see it too much because it's under the graphics card. It's about right. All right, that right under there. So remove the graphics card, turn off the power, remove the graphics card, disconnect the power. I like to hold the power button to drain the power out of the system. There's a little LED on the back of the card I use as an indication. You might see the fans kick up and then go down. Remove the jumper, power it back on. You get a message that states password has been reset, cannot perform any hardware changes without the jumper installed. So you power it back down, put your jumper on, and boom, BIOS is wiped. So I went ahead and reloaded default BIOS settings, put in the correct date and time, and stuck in my Windows ISO drive, and here we go. We are installing Windows. So once again, system specs are going to be an i5 9500 on a Dell Optiplex 7070 chassis on a tower with a Asus Phoenix 1650 OC single fan, which requires one 6-pin PCIe power, which I've got adapted to an extra drive jumper or SATA right up there. 24 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM and a 1 terabyte NVMe drive right there, an inland drive that I got new. New thermal paste on the processor and the graphics card. No problems there. I wanted to use that 1050 Ti, and unfortunately it's a little too big. It kept hitting the power connector right there. So this is going to load Windows. While I'm waiting for that, to give you kind of a sneak peek, some other videos I got coming up. So this is a HP Envy I did a part 1 on before I moved. So it's been sitting for a while. It's long overdue to get it up and out. And then on top, these are actually exciting. These are GTX 760s, the EVGA super clocked. I believe these are the 4 gig cards. Remember I told you the buddy that I helped gut PCs, he let me take all the graphics cards. So I've got about, 6 or 7 of these 760s, 2 960 4 gigs, a couple of WX 2100, which are 2 gigabyte GDDR5 cards. So I've got some good hardware coming up. This last couple of months has been really good with getting some budget hardware. And as I said, once I get through my son's room and get his flooring in and get him moved out of the game room, we'll be filming in the game room. Everything you see here is going to go in the game room minus the towers. I've got some older systems. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I've got some old school gaming computers, like first gen Intel. I have a series that I'm planning on coming out where we delve into the history of these machines, and then we see what we can do with them to see if we can bring them up to somewhat usable by today's standards. And that's it. So as you can see, Windows is loading. I'm going to finish getting this buttoned up and updated, and I will see you when we are up and running to check some benchmarks. Hey everybody, it's Nerdy30. So I just wanted to come in and say I'm sorry I didn't have any benchmarks for this system, as after I got done benchmarking it with Unigen, I actually sold it the same night I built it. Was asking 180 and got 160 for it. So if you like budget PC content and you want to see part 3, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing.